All right. All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the Town of Manteo Planning and Zoning Board meeting in a regular session, and this is September 14th, 2021 at 6:02. I think we still need to do roll call, don't we? Yes. So let's do roll call. So Nicole Northrup? Here. Field Scarborough?
Here.
Hal Goodman?
Here.
And Sherry Wickstrom, chair here. Jamie Daniels is not in attendance this evening. However, we do have a quorum. So our first order of business is to adopt the agenda. Is there a motion for the adoption?
We adopt the agenda as submitted.
We have a motion, or is there a seconder to adopt the agenda?
I'll second that.
We have a seconder, that's Nicole Northrup, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, and that passes unanimously. The minutes have been distributed and emailed to everyone. Is there any change or anything on the minutes? Or is there a motion for approval?
I'll move we approve the minutes.
We have a motioner, Hal Goodman, to approve the minutes. Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
And Field Scarborough seconds that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And that approval of the minutes of July 13th, 2021 has passed unanimously. So our next order of business is under presentation and reports. And this is the Land Use Plan Amendment Resolution, which is for discussion only. And I had asked that this be on the agenda because after reading the resolution by Attorney Gallup, I was thinking that there was some confusion that happened in that meeting because I do not believe it was the intention of the planning board to have the wording that is in the resolution that the attorney came up with, and it was a very confusing and long conversation, and I think that's what was a bit of a problem. So this item on the agenda is for discussion only, and I just wanted everyone to be able to give their perspective about that resolution. We didn't have the opportunity, because I think we might have mentioned to Melissa that it was fine for the attorney to take that on to the Board of Commissioners. And so, because we didn't have an opportunity for us as a body to get together and discuss that, because we didn't ask for that, I think that this is a good time for us to do that. So, also, the Board of Commissioners, so the process has gone forward after the Planning Board had sent it on to the Board of Commissioners, and then they have also set a date for a public hearing for that resolution. And that public hearing date is October...
It's October the 20th.
Thank you. The October the 20th. So tonight I thought we would take just a little bit of time and bring up anything after having looked at the resolution that the planning board might either have a question about or make a statement about, because I do not think that was the intention of the planning board at that last meeting in, what was that, July?
Now, I'll agree, the wording that's in the amendment, the way he has it, is not what we intended it to read as. Basically, we're just ceding our jurisdiction to the Corps of Engineers and CAMA. And he gets into that whole thing about defining upland wetlands, and I think we were trying to get away from that, because that's one of the things that caused so much confusion. We were just trying to refer to them as either coastal wetlands or wetlands that fell under the jurisdiction of 404 of the Water Quality Act, Clean Water Act.
Right, and I think that Attorney Gallup had felt that it was important to keep that coastal wetlands reference. So that was that version 2 that he sent on to the Board of Commissioners. One of the items also in that August, or in the version 1, was there was nothing that included Pirates Cove specifically. And I think that there was some concern about that, because what about Marsh's Light? What if we allow this to happen in Pirates Cove, we include that in Pirates Cove, but what about Marsh's Light? So I think that was another thing that was kind of confusing during that discussion, was that we did not specifically include, Pirates Cove. Sorry about that.
Well, one of the points that people kept bringing up was it would not be fair to do it only for Pirates Cove. And my interpretation of the intent was that we wanted to have the wording match more closely what an applicant would see from CAMA or from the Army Corps, that our wording was so different with this upland wetlands definition, which we really don't have a lot of upland wetlands. It was making the wording too different, and that was one of the points we were making. We wanted our wording to be more similar to what they would see. Am I verbalizing it correctly?
And I think Jamie Daniels has also stated that same thing, was the need for more consistency in the language, which is exactly what we're trying to
Right,
do
consistency.
with our 160D, and with looking at our different ordinances, and making sure that there is clarity, consistency. So,
And well, Jamie brought up another good point today in the email that he sent to everybody, where, instead of trying to amend this ordinance to fit the situation, it would probably clear up a whole lot of things if the party just applied for a variance
Yes,
and we didn't have to go through this exercise.
that's
Do you
what a
wanna comment?
variance is for. Yes, absolutely.
yeah, I think the variance question had been brought up during the meeting, but I would like some clarification from
Sure.
Planner Dickerson.
So this has been an interesting process. We have not received an application of any type for this property related to this issue. There has been no application submitted to the planning department. And I want to be clear that as part of that, that is why you all seem confused, because also to change the land use plan and its policies require a different process than changing the ordinances and other things, because this document, after it is adopted by the town, then goes to the Coastal Resources Commission for certification. So this is the first time that I've had the opportunity to dig into this kind of process. And the first go around, we met what we thought were the notice requirements, and then our friends at CAMA helped us out. So there are additional things that have to be done because this is a certified CAMA land use plan. For example, we did not know that the notice, a hard copy of the notice, actually has to be posted in the courthouse. So we did that. We did that after the board changed the public hearing date to October the 20th. But to go back you all may recall, because I know that you all spend time, if you are not attending the meetings in person, you go back and watch the commissioners' meeting. This came to you all as a directive from the Board of Commissioners. Again, it was not from an applicant. The applicant attended the meetings. He brought the matter to the Board of Commissioners by way of public comment, and nothing has been applied for. So what you all received from the town attorney was his first crack at it, back in, I think, August. You all had your comments. Unfortunately, the town attorney wasn't able to be here. He watched the video. What he gleaned from the conversation that he heard from your video is what he provided to the Board of Commissioners. Of course, that evening, after a healthy discussion about it, I offered that to you all as an option, or it could come back to you. Of course, you all went with the option of sending it on to the Board of Commissioners, and that's where we are. So tonight, you all are not able to make any changes or suggested changes to the resolutions that have been provided by way of the public notice. But I think, as you all have noted, you want to clarify your position on this, and there's still, that opportunity it still is allowed, of course, and you all are welcome to also participate in the public hearing on the 20th of October. So I want to be clear about that. But back to the original conversations with Mr. Robbins, we offered him a number of things. We offered him to apply for a variance. We offered him to change the site plan. We offered him to, change the location of the home on the property. And this that has come to you all is the way that Mr. Robbins has chosen to address the situation. He has not chosen to apply for a variance, but was offered that as an option by the planning department.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And I just wanted to state again, this evening, there's no opportunity for a motion or anything. This is just for this body to set the record straight. And, when we were looking at this, we did have the option to do nothing, to not to change any of the land use language. But as Commissioner Goodman said, there were some words in there that seemed to need more clarity. But anyway, I do think that there will be an opportunity as we go forward to spend more time on, maybe not us. I mean, maybe it would be the Board of Commissioners. I suppose they could send it back to us if there is an application. Or it would just come to us if there's an application by anyone who's wishing to change the land, any land alterations, whether it's fill or development.
My feeling about this is we should just go on record as saying that we're not in favor of what's proposed the way it currently reads. Since we can't do any kind of motion or anything, we should just officially put it in the record that we all agree that what is in that proposed amendment is not what we really wanted to see.
Well, I would certainly agree with that. There were two versions. So there was that version 1 that had kept that language of coastal in there. And then there was version 2 that
The only
didn't.
difference I saw was in that
Yes.
paragraph number 3, there was one line
Yeah.
that was different between
Yeah.
the two, after you read through the whole
Yeah.
thing.
So basically, both versions, are you saying going on record, for both versions,
Yeah,
weren't,
that we're not in favor of that language.
yeah. Very well. I am in agreement on that. So, is there any other discussion, any other comments you would like to make before we move from this discussion?
Madam Chair, if I may, also offer to you all, tomorrow night, we are kicking off our comprehensive plan process for a new plan. And I think as the board who is more closely aware of these documents, that you all are going to have the opportunity to weigh in with the team that will be here about some of these policy issues that exist in our current plan, like the term upland wetlands not being clearly defined. So as a way forward for the future, regardless of how the public hearing on October 20th goes, there's a way to still address the issue to make sure that the intent still remains and get the policy, make it better in the next land use plan. So I just want to offer that as well, because that plan process is beginning tomorrow, and the town is required to have it adopted by July of 2022. So even if the existing plan changes, there's a new plan coming. So we need to keep our eyes on the future as well.
Good. That's also provides some relief.
Just a question, does the Board of Commissioners have 3 options on that? They can take option 1 of the attorney's amendment, option 2, or just
Do nothing.
don't do
Yes.
nothing, make no change?
That's right.
Okay.
It would always be helpful to know also when, because we've had a couple presentations like that, just it would be helpful to note, and I don't know if it's possible publicly. The applicant was offered variation. The applicant did not want that. It would be very helpful to hear all that and have the public be aware that these things were offered to clarify the entire situation, to make the entire situation crystal clear.
I agree with you wholeheartly, because when he did his presentation, he made us feel like this was being rammed down his
Yes,
throat.
it felt like it felt like
This or
there was some
nothing.
great injustice. It felt like a great injustice was being served, and I think we all felt that.
Absolutely.
And to clarify, he is not an applicant at this moment and has not been during this process.
Yes, and the other thing that I think caused some of the confusion or some of the, we got to get this done, was that sense of urgency.
Yeah, he
Yes.
made it seem like they were ready to move a contractor on site and start building.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really glad we had this discussion. I feel like we've set the record straight about,
None of us are perfect, but we'll all do better if we all just share how we honestly feel, and we can repair things
Right.
occasionally. Occasionally, we are human, we shall take a misstep, and we can repair, as long as we always have a healthy discussion.
it's the best way to learn, if you ask me, Nicole. Well, one of the ways to learn. Anyway, all right. So I just want to ask one more time, any other discussion, any other comments before we move on to the next item of business? Or you think
No.
we've pretty well done it? All right, very well. So the next item is our public comment. And,
We have one member of the public here.
no, okay, all right. I see that he's waived off any need to have to comment publicly this evening. And we don't have anyone on the phone or anything like that anymore. So I'm going to skip on down to old business. And this is something this is a plan you're all familiar with. There have been some modifications. Not many, just a couple of small modifications. Anyway, it's Lot 25, Marsh's Light plan. And so this came before the Park Committee last Tuesday. And we're very familiar with this plan. The owner of the property, the owner of the plan, Mr. Linton, he really appreciates all of the comments that he gets. I think he gets closer and closer to his perfect plan. So this is another rendition. The Park Committee made 2 suggestions, recommendations for him. And I'm going to let Melissa actually talk about that. You might even have, do you have the plan?
I do, I
Okay.
have it ready to go on the screen.
Excellent.
So I did take some pictures for you all. So the Linton home is on lot 25. This is the lot adjacent to it. So I just wanted to give you all some bearings. This is the lot where the home will be placed. So it's in between the condos and this home. And I thought to do this because later you'll see that he has provided a color palette. So Mr. Linton has a contractor now. He engaged with us long before he had a contractor. And so now that he is moving towards construction, there have been some changes made to the plans. I provided in your packet both the old and new plans so you could see the difference. I didn't do that at Park, but I thought that it was helpful when I went back and reread the notes. So let's see. There we go. So what Park recommended was, you can see on the front elevation, which is the bottom right picture, there is a half moon in the front steps of the home that they have recommended be removed. It was a consensus of the group that that is not something that appears anywhere in Marcia's Light, so that it may not be fitting to the neighborhood. And then also that to reinforce the rule with the Manteo way that the pickets on the steps go all the way to the steps. And those were the comments that Park provided and recommendations to you all.
And the footprint of that, of the new house,
So the footprint, actually, I confirmed this with Mr. Linton. Oh, nope. I thought I had
The
it
site
here.
plan was in the beginning, it was ahead of the house plan in
Was
the
it?
packet you sent to us.
Okay. I do have it in the packet, but not on the PowerPoint. But let's see, I can print a few copies of these for you all. But it's, the footprint of the home did not change.
yeah.
And it does meet lot coverage,
Coverage, yeah.
setbacks, all those things.
Yeah, I have one comment
Okay.
on the lot. When I walked the lot, currently, that lot slopes right into the marina basin, and there's a washout under the dock where all the stormwater's running in there. There is a dry stormwater pond when you're facing the lot on the left-hand side between this lot and the condominium building.
Yeah.
And that lot needs to be regraded so that the water flows into that dry pond and not into the marina basin, especially after you get some paving on there and water coming off the roof and everything. Right now, it's just all grass, so it's partially getting filtered going in there. But it has a definite, you can see the low spot. You can see the trash can or the
Just to the
On
right
on
of
the
the
side,
trash
just to
can.
the right of it,
That's
there's a
sweet.
low
She's
spot, and
exactly
everything
right.
washes
Yeah.
under the dock and into the boat basin.
Okay.
Excellent point, Hal.
And I can suggest that the property owner work with the HOA and Saga to address the washout, because that's going to be somebody else's issue to
Right, but,
fix, but,
you know, they're gonna disturb that lot anyhow, so they might as well regrade it so it's got an eighth per foot slope to that pond that's on the side between his lot and the condo,
okay.
because right now, everything's just going right into the boat basin.
Really good comment. Any other comments about this proposal? I know we have seen other renditions of this. Very serious buyer and family who wants to build. And did you get a sense, Melissa, when that would be?
Soon, yeah. They asked me yesterday or today about a CAMA permit, which John DuBois is the builder. I am familiar with him because he has participated on the county and town's CRS Public Participation Committee that Hal is also a member of. So John, that's how I know John. He doesn't regularly build in Manteo, but he asked me about a CAMA permit often local planning departments process CAMA permits, but I do not since I'm the only employee.
Right.
Only full-time employee. So I connected him with CAMA in Elizabeth City. So
Okay.
if they are pulling their CAMA permit, then they're getting pretty close to
Good.
construction, so.
Excellent. And then you had the color palette that he had, and this is different than what he had picked out before, is that right?
I don't know that we saw this last
Okay.
time. But this has gone to the HOA, that usually we don't see color palettes, I think. But he has sent it on to the HOA, and so by way of that, it was offered, and so I shared it with you all.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very complementary to the surrounding buildings. I don't know if you had that first. Yeah, it's very complementary. So it'll look wonderful. Anyway, are there any other comments, concerns,
No.
questions?
Nope.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve his plan incorporating the park comments.
all right, we have a motioner to approve the plan with the two park modifications. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that motion.
I thought you guys were going to toss a coin.
I know. We have a seconder to that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No one is opposed, so that motion passes unanimously. Excellent. So, we're on to board member comments. Nicole, can we start with you?
Yes. I would like to thank the town so much for taking on the causeway. I am so excited about that. It looks so good. I thank you, Public Works employees. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, town manager. It's just awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, it changes the way it looks. A town with pride. How about you, Fields?
No comment.
Nothing? Okay. Hal?
Yeah, it's out of our jurisdiction, but it's one of the first things you see coming off of the Washington Bond Bridge as you're coming into Manteo. But there has been one derelict
Oh, yeah.
sailboat there. Now there is a second one that is up on the beach, tipped over, and it's starting to become a boat junkyard there. And I'm
Wow.
not sure, I know we have jurisdiction when they're in the town to get them removed now. But I don't know if Dare County has any authority to do that or not. But you come over the bridge and, you know, there's two derelict sailboats there.
There is an article in The Voice, and the Coastal Federation, who used to help with trash cleanup before the town took it over, are getting ready to do a derelict vessel cleanup. And you look like you're aware of that too.
Okay, because there are two more down in the marsh
They
south
got a
of
grant.
Wanchese that have been there since Hurricane Matthew, I think.
And do you know which ones they're getting ready to take, Melissa?
I know the ones at the south end of the island are on the list. I am not certain about the ones just south of the bridge. Dare County did contact me about that maybe 6 to 8 months ago. Of course, the second,
The second one is
Is
recent. It
recent.
just showed up about a month ago.
it's my understanding that those folks were out at night and hit the bridge and beached that boat there. So,
Oh, dear.
yes, so I can check with the Coastal Federation and see. I know that if it's not on their list, it's certainly on their radar because they're
Because the
active out
older
there as
one
well.
at least is sitting upright, but that second one, it's laying over on its
Mhm.
side and it just looks terrible.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you for that comment. I have two comments, and they're actually about the same subject, and that is the town common. So first of all, I wanted to thank the town for doing the weed pulling and all of that in the town common. I had had so many comments about it. And I know that there was a complexity because the contractor that we had, I think, was supposed to do it. But anyway, that it is done makes everybody happy. And so I just wanted to mention that. The other thing is today I had someone ask about electric charging stations in our town common parking lot. I know at one time we talked about doing that. And I don't know if we opted not to because of the price tag on it or what. But, I mean, if that's something we could look into to see if it's a possibility, because that isn't a wave of the future. The electric cars are here, and it'd be nice for folks. You know, they keep track of where they are, and so if they feel like they can't come over to the island because there's a limitation in their ability to move around with their vehicle. Anyway, that was the other thing that I just wanted to mention. So, okay. The next item on our agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All
I'll
right.
second that.
We have a motioner and a seconder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And this meeting is adjourned.